is that I can easily forget new things. So I really have to exercise the brain of mine. I remember I used to take a anticholinergic or cholinergic drugs. They said that can affect your brain memory. I used to take an anti-allergy, like what's the name of that medicine? Anyway, I can't remember. Very bad memory. So I scheduled this live because I saw a mother, it's just embarrassing. Comparing a child, why saying to this kid, I'm the one who feel embarrassed while I'm listening. Really, yeah, imagine the feeling of a child being compared to another kid, and your mom will say, "Why can't you be like her? She's very good in school, she's like number one in the class, and you look at your grades, it's so embarrassing. Why can't you be like your cousin? They are so good in their school, even their achievement in school is so high. Why can't you be like them? We are the same family." So I was, when you listen to this kind of mom talk, I feel sad for the kid. You know why? It's because, just can you imagine if if your kid compare you as a mom to another mom, what would you feel? And kids, when they compared, of course they won't do that because they always look at their parents as a model, as their, it's like their god, because they're the one who take cares of them. They're the one who give them food, clothes, shelter, and everything that they need in this life. So, kids always think you as the highest person in their list. But what if, can you put yourself? What if your kid will say, why can't you be like my friend's mom? She is not only highly educated, she's a manager of a company, and yet she has time to spend time with her kids, teaching them, loving them, caring them. I didn't can even, her mom is so busy, and yet she has time for her kids, while you are a stay-at-home mom, and yet you keep complaining how hard to take care of us. That kind of thing. How would you feel if your kids say that, just to say that to her friends? Or what if your kids say directly to you, I'm 100% you're gonna slap that kid, or beat it, or pinch it, or whatever Filipino kinds of punishment. Filipino usually, they don't really slap their kids. Usually, pinch the ears or pinch anywhere in the body. So that's the most common punishment. But then the words, the heartful words that you say to your kids, or it's it will always affect their security. The more you compare your kids to other kids, or to your family, or your sister or brother or your cousin's kid, they will feel that, why can't, they will question himself, what is wrong with me? When the kid question herself, he or herself, you are introducing a negative emotion. You are making them feel small. You are depriving your kids of a security, um, self-confidence, self-esteem, because they start questioning themselves. They start to doubt themselves. What is wrong with me? Why can't my mother just accept me as I am? You know? So you yourself, if you if how about if others compares you to others? Of course it will not hurt that much because you don't know this person, but if your kids or your husband or your mom itself will compare you to other kids when you were young, I think you know the feeling, right? Unless your mom doesn't compare you to anyone, just like my mom. I know I know my mom is not perfect, but she never I cannot I never ever heard her comparing to other families' children or other neighbors' kids. She never do that. That's the thing about my mom. That's why I never compare my daughter to other kids, because I learned it from my mom. My mom may not be perfect, may not even be she not even finished college. She just own a small business. She has to survive and not be able to finish the college. So he has to learn something to help my father. Otherwise, wants to give us a good life, and my mother was just a student when they get married. So she has to do something to help my father, and since she cannot go to school anymore because her parents will not support her because she already get married. So she strived and learned business. Anyway, she's not very good at it, but she survives. Because business needs imagination, and it's a kind of a gift that, well, not really gift, but yeah, it's a gift because people, not anyone can do it. So, but my mom would do it for survival. Anyway, my point is that my mom, she never compared us to other kids. So maybe maybe people, I am quite arrogant when I was a young girl, to the extent that I even bullied my classmates, especially my classmates when I was in school, because you spend most of your time in school, and only weekends you can play with your friends when you're in a school age. So because I got that so much self confidence that I become so arrogant at times. I can't. And I also, the thing is that when you are smart, your classmate notice it. Even if you don't go to school, and still when you come back to school and take the exam and get the good grades, they notice it. I remember one of my classmates in my elementary said, "I keep competing with you, but you keep disappearing from class. But when you come back, one of my teachers, especially my science teacher, she always give me special exam if I miss long quizzes or major exams. She always do that. I think she's having fun trying to gauge how much I get, even though most of the time I was not in her class. I mean, not most of the time, but I mean, compared to other children, like if there's 5 days school, I miss 2 or 3 days. Like today, Monday, they introduce new topic, and then I'm sure on Tuesday they're gonna repeat the same topic, so I'm gone. I will not go to school. That's the thing. I get bored listening again. But then because before students are mixed. There are fast learners, slow learner, and every kind of learner. So for those who are fast learner, it will be hard for them to listen to the topic the same day. So that's why I'm missing, because I don't want to hear it anymore. So after the whole topic has been discussed, and then of course the teacher has one to evaluate if you learn something from it. So there will be a long quiz or a long exam. And sometimes, because I didn't know that, because it's an announced exam, so I will always miss it. And my science teacher is really kind to me. She always give me this special exam, and then I saw her smile. When she. I know she noticed it, that even if I'm not always in her class, still I get the good grades. I had two or maximum three mistakes, and she was still really happy. Giving me special exam. I don't know what's her. I think it's her happiness, that knowing that there's a kid who doesn't go to school every day but still got good grades. So anyway, just the point is that I get arrogant. I became arrogant when I was young. I didn't even know that I am so full of self confidence. That at the extent of bullying my classmates. I only realized that when I was with a friend who told me that it's so difficult um, um, being with you. You always try to insist your thing unless it was proven wrong. You'll never stop insisting that you're right. I said, that was the thing, that's the time I realized, then why didn't you tell me before that? She said, because she said, sometimes I feel that sometimes I feel overwhelmed because of you. So I don't have the courage to tell you these things. She wanna tell me when we are saying goodbye, or start because we have our own thing. So she has to go and a thing in another country, and so am I. So it's like she's giving me advice, that I have to learn to to humble down or to tone down, because the other people may not really understand or might not really like it. So I didn't realize that time. It's a good thing that she told me anyway. That's not my see. I am the off topic. I have to see this. That's why I always make a note. Just to remind me that to stay on the topic. So my point is that we don't want our kids to be arrogant as well, but we want them to have that self confidence, that no one can just bully them, or no one can step on them. That's what that kind of confidence is only, is being, it's only it can be taught, or it can be acquired, or it can be developed by first. I don't have much list, but this is only according to my experience. But first, don't ever compare your kids to other kids, and don't belittle them. Don't their achievement. Don't look down on at them. These things, small achievements, but they work hard for it. You'll have to learn to appreciate them. You'll have to learn to accept your kid as they are. They have their own talent. They are their own gift. Why would God give them to you? If there's something that is as a Christian, we all believe that children are gifts from God. So why would God give you a gift that is not worthy of you? Come on. Anyway, so my point is, if your kid is not smart enough or is not talented enough, it doesn't mean that they are bad, or they cannot do anything in life. I mean, they are an individual who was, is a genes between you and your husband. They were made between two loving people. Yeah. These are your own flesh and blood. Why would you want to rob your kids with a self-confidence, self-esteem by comparing them to other kids? Just learn to love them, appreciate them. You know, if you observe kids, you, of course, when they're young, they will leech everything from you, even follow you, imitate you. They're like sponges. The more you teach them good things, the more you're growing up a good person. Anyway, but my point is that these kids, it, if you feed them negative things, of course they will grow up with a negative emotion, negative feelings, even hatred from within deep in their heart or in their subconscious. Sometimes some people wonder why I we wonder why this kid become like this. Why did this kid treat his parents like this? Why did this kid abandon this parent? You don't live in their house. How would you know what their parents doing to them? You only see them outside their house. What's inside the house is we cannot see how they treat their kids in their house. You think they're kind, the parents are kind, of good person, good educated, highly educated, professional. But we don't know what's going on in the house. Yeah, the outside part, we don't know. But yeah, some people may think that comparing is normal, or comparing it has no negative effect, or comparing is just it's the normal thing to do. If you like talking to your friends and comparing your kids, it is a normal thing. But you didn't know that when your kids hear you comparing them, and then and the saddest thing is that the comparison is them, you looking down at them, they will feel bad. Good if they compare your kids and uplifting them. But then the other mother will, the one who's another kid who's being looked down, it will feel the kid, if the kid listens, also feel bad, isn't it? So what I'm trying to say is that you don't if you really love your kid, you don't have to compare them to other kids. They have other achievements. But you don't know what we're gonna do, what will gonna happen in the future, or what's in them. You look at them highly because they're, I know Filipinos, they're always, the achievement is always school achievements. That's the mentality, which is, I understand. Because they always believe that when you go to college, university, if you're highly educated, you will be successful. Yes, you're gonna be a very successful doctor, lawyer, whatever. But the question is, we have all of them, the highly educated politician, but look at our country. What kind of person we start to, develop? They are all corrupt. Look at our country. We keep complaining that our country is corrupt, and yet we keep voting the same people. We never try to vote a new one. What's with that mentality? It's because from the start, from the parents, how we grow our kids in the future is what gonna be our future. So if we start degrading or comparing our kids, and if you compare and build your kids, of course your kid will be proud. But then how about the other kids who's being looked down? What I'm trying to say is that comparing is negative, has a negative effect to kids. Even for us adults, if we get comparison to another highly successful person, because we feel down, isn't it? I mean, just put yourself, anyway. My point is, you will always look at the achievement, the school, but look at our country. Look at the people that we grow. Isn't that embarrassing? We keep complaining about our country is so corrupt, but did we learn something from it? We still keep voting the same people. So it's because that kind of mentality, we I know it's so difficult to change because the smart people, they have ways of manipulating people, and only people with who has open mindedness, who learns to accept things, and question them. If it's good, then they have to do it. But then that kind of person is can only be cultivated from childhood, and I think most of us doesn't even know how to cultivate a child from childhood, how to make them a good person, how to uh, people will, many people will disagree and will inject that you cannot, when they become adult or teenager, you cannot control them, and their individuality as a or their individual behavior or attitude will come out. Come on, people. Of course, there are always an individuality, but kids, you mold them, you make them as they are. It's been studied in psychology and psychiatry that the childhood, what happened in childhood, is has a greater effect when they become an adult. So, as a parent, it's our fault if we build this kind of people as a kind of leaders. It, it's from our hands that all these things started. If we build an honest person, honest, true, and true. Even me, I cannot say I'm an honest, true, and true because there are things that you don't say honestly if you are cornered, isn't it? So if you really build an honest person, of course they will grow up to be an honest official, leaders, workers, managers, isn't it? So what my point is that if you really, comparing your kids to other kids will only harm them. You will never get a positive effect from that, because you're only making them feel bad of themselves, questioning themselves, making their self-esteem low. There's nothing good on comparing your kids. Instead of comparing them, encourage them, motivate them. Tell them that you 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 don't have to, you don't have to get so high grade, but at least try to work hard to get a better one, isn't it? It is much better than, I know some parents, their motive of comparing is to that the kids will follow that person, but that's not the way you make your kids a better, or to do better. It will only harm their self-esteem and their self-confidence. The best way is to motivate them, show them, set an example. If you as a mother, if you work hard and show your kids, and like me, I know I cannot blame my daughter because I am in the age where I'm supposed to be, retiring, and yet not really retiring, but I mean in the age I should be relaxed. Then in this stage of my life, I should be relaxing, which is I'm doing, and then my kid grow up seeing her mom so relaxed. So but what can I do? That's the stage. You didn't grow up in the stage where I work hard, toiling, earning money, lots of money. She didn't grow up in the stage. Her example is when she saw me, being a mom, working in the house, growing her up, teaching her. This is. You didn't see a mom that really worked hard for the money. So how can she learn from experience? That was the mom she has before. But what she growed up is a mom who is a simple person, who is who is at home taking care of her. So that's why, the behavior that people saw in my daughter is the behavior that it's me. That's why when they criticize her, of course I feel bad because they're criticizing me as well. But I think I always, prop myself. Why would you listen to these people? They're doing this because they're not happy with their life. I always put that in my mind. They project their feelings and emotion and their lives on you, so you will also feel bad. So I always put in my mind. So don't accept negativity. So my point is, parents, love your kids as they are. Don't compare them. Don't rob them with their self-confidence and self-respect. Accept them. Love them. You may, later, when in your old age, you will realize what you have in, what you have planted on them, the positive emotion, the loving emotion, the loving environment. Later, I'm 100% in my experience. I harvested them. When she was a teenager, I don't even have a headache until now. Of course, it's a rebellious stage being a teenager, but I, I never, I never have the breakdown when I have a friend who, almost get a breakdown from her rebellious kids I heard that committed suicide, and that's the very difficult part. Anyway, how to handle this case. I don't want to blame her or any of what happened, but really, it's on the mother. It's how you grow your kids. A kid who committed suicide. How how can a kid do that? I mean, if your home environment is loving and you feel security, how will you want to end your life? You have a good life unless you have some chemical imbalance in the brain. But if there's not organic thing in the brain, how 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 much desperation a kid feeling to commit suicide? You know, that's what you start questioning yourself. How much desperation and hopelessness a kid feel, you know, to to do that kind of act. Of course, when I heard this, of course I have to help, give positive words to my friend. But in my heart, I am blaming her. But you cannot blame her because the effect of the suicide is a very selfish action, and the person who who are around that person who's committed suicide, of course they will feel guilty, and I know she feel guilty. very, very guilty and start questioning what you have done. You only get an insight of the behavior when, and that's an effect, cause and effect. So you will only start to question yourself if what you're doing is good or bad when something that your kid had done that, that is so grave that it really affects you mentally and emotionally. So before things got that far, you know, I hope you guys, realize that we are the one who's building our kids' self-esteem and self-esteem and self-confidence. So we're the one who can make them feel desperate and hopeless. If your kid is so safe and secure at home, no one can interject any negativity to them. No one can influence them. No friends or classmate can do that because you grow them so confident from the childhood. You give them love, support. Well, what? Where will they get? What will they get from outside? Nothing. They don't need anything from outside, from their classmate or from their friends, because you already provided them. They only look this emotion when they cannot find it at home. So keep them enough. But then, of course, you don't have to spoil them because spoiling is different. You give them enough love and care, but you don't rub them in self. You don't spoil them because spoiling is another thing. You give them too much that they don't need. That's why you spoil them, and then you question yourself. That the thing is how to balance, how to balance this thing. You love your kids, but when you give them so much you give them what they need. Don't give them beyond what they need. But love is love the love is so easy to give if you love yourself. That's another topic. Anyway, my point is that you grow your kids. You should grow them. Don't compare them. Don't make them don't compare them to other kids. Just love them as they are. That's the best thing you can give them. Make them feel secure that you're always there for them, and you accept them as they are. So I don't want to talk more because I will just I have so I this topic is it's just the idea from that kid, and I hope that you parents learn something from this. It is an experience that I saw from other people, and also the experience that how I grow my daughter. If other parents will, if you're the parents of my daughter, I don't know if you appreciate her the way she is. Maybe you don't you will look down on her, but I never look down on her because she's my flesh and blood. Come on, she's my only kid. She has her own endearing. Doesn't have to be a school achiever, but there's something in her. When I have back pain, she will massage my back pain. So don't know, that's a simple thing, but it really touches me because I mean she has sympathy. She can empathize. She cares for me. So what I invested when she was a kid, now I am harvesting them. I am harvesting the emotion that I invested, the love and security I provided. I am harvesting. She never gave me a major or big problem. She she never you know she never disrespect me the way I see other teenagers disrespect their parents. Because if she disrespect if the way those kids disrespected their parents, if my kid do that to me, of course I will feel bad. But then I always put in my mind, I invested respect. Of course I have to harvest respect. That's always my theory. Well, actually, theory, my belief. If you invested respect on your kids, of course you will harvest that respect. Where will you get this respect? Where will it came from? Isn't it? Because you already planted the respect, so of course you get respect. So if you planted not giving them self esteem or degrading them. Of course, you're not planting self esteem or confidence. You are planting negative. You are robbing them with their dignity, with their confidence, because you compare them to other kids. You make them feel inadequate. So, even if you agree to me or not about starting the kids, investing respect, teaching them obedience, and all this positive behavior. If you, it's up to you. Some people had denial. They say, "Oh, I already done that to my kid." Come on, I have a way. If you're a mother, you record your whole day activities for 1 week and watch yourself. Did you really invested self-respect, or did you really invested respect to your kids, or you just keep robbing them with the respect, or you keep humiliating them? Every words that come out from our mouth can be negative, and if we don't even realize it, you know, like when your kids keep dropping things, and we call it, "Are you stupid?" That's a negative word. Stupid is a negative word, and calling your kid, "Are you stupid?" You are degrading your kid. You are treating your kid as a stupid. They're small kids. So of course, they're gonna drop things again and again, and they're gonna pick it up. The value is that they keep picking it up. So later on in life, even if they're having hard time, they can know how to pick up their life and keep go on. They will just treat us as a bad experience or failure as a tool to become stronger, because they know that things go down, but still you can pick it up. It does that, it will not lose forever. It's still there, isn't it? So that's the value you teach them. So don't scold your kids if they keep dropping things. Anyway, my point here is that I'm going out of the topic, in that stop comparing your kids. Love your kids as they are. Don't interject in their lives negative things like comparing them to other kids or other members of your family. Just love them as they are. Okay, I have to go now. Hope you learned something from this. Bye.